I never thought I'd be a fan of marshmallows. The texture and lack of flavor of store-bought versions always kind of grossed me out. But homemade marshmallows? Now there is a complete game changer. In fact, I'm even reconsidering my opinion on s'mores. Imagine pairing an 80% cacao chocolate bar with fluffy homemade marshmallows. Perhaps that would be worth the sticky fingers. But before we dive into the recipe, let's take a brief journey through the history of marshmallows. The original marshmallow confection actually dates back to around 2000 BCE in ancient Egypt, where sap from the marshmallow plant was mixed with honey and sometimes nuts or grains. It would create a treat that was reserved for royalty. Around the 9th century BCE, the Greeks used marshmallows to heal wounds and sore throats. By the late 1700s and early 1800s, the French developed a sweet treat that I cannot pronounce. It was a confection made from sugar, egg whites, and marshmallow root extract. It was originally used as a health lozenge. In the late 1800s, marshmallow root was replaced with gum arabic for a cleaner taste. The introduction of powdered gelatin in the mid-1800s further revolutionized the process, and by 1895, the Rochester Marshmallow Company began mass-producing marshmallows as candy. The first recorded s'mores recipe appeared in the 1927 cookbook called Tramping and Trailing with the Girl Scouts. Finally, in 1948, the invention of marshmallow extrusion process gave us the fluffy treats that we know today. Now, let's make our own marshmallows from scratch. This recipe has been my go-to for the past 8 years thanks to my friend Kathy. Let's start by reserving half a cup of cold water to bloom our gelatin in later. For measuring sticky things like this cane syrup, this measuring cup has been a game changer for all my recipes. You'll need 2½ cups of granulated sugar in your saucepan. Then you'll want to add 1/2 cup of water to the sugar. Stir gently, being careful not to get it up the sides of the pan. That'll cause it to crystallize. Now we're ready to bloom the gelatin. You'll need the 1/2 cup of cold water that you reserved earlier. We're using 3 packets of Knox gelatin. While your water and sugar are warming together, go ahead and add the 3 packets of gelatin to your cold water. Give it a quick little whisk, making sure that all the gelatin is wet. Set it aside and give it time to bloom. Meanwhile, your water and sugar have been warming up, and now is the perfect time to add your cane syrup to the saucepan. As you're mixing the cane syrup in with the sugar and water already in the saucepan, you're going to want to remember to be careful not to get the mixture up the sides of the pan to prevent the crystallization. Once the cane syrup is thoroughly mixed in, let it sit and heat up. When your mixture is just below the boiling point, it's time to get the gelatin. You'll know it's ready because it'll be solidified. Add in the gelatin and stir until it's dissolved. Once the gelatin is completely dissolved and the mixture is thoroughly combined, you'll pour it into a bowl and begin to mix. Please be very careful at this point. The mixture is very hot and very sticky. You want to be careful not to get any on you. As the mixture begins to turn white, this is a good time to add the vanilla extract. Then right back to the high-speed whipping until it's white, fluffy, and doubled in bulk. This does take some time. You will need to be patient, but stay with it. You'll get there, I promise. While you're waiting for your marshmallows to whip, prepare your pan by lining it with parchment paper and coating the parchment paper generously with cooking spray. Trust me, there'll be plenty of time. As you can see, we're nearly there. This is a good time to add additional flavorings, and these marshmallows are going to be cinnamon. Because we make several different flavors of marshmallows, we like to add fun colors. Our cinnamon ones are always pink. It's also always a surprise at just how much food coloring it takes to get the desired tint. Taste testing is actually a very important part of this process. You want to make sure that if you're adding additional flavors like the cinnamon, that you've gotten enough extract into the mix to give it the flavor profile that you're looking for. More flavor. More color. Still more color. Finally, it's just right. With the exact right color that we were looking for and the exact right flavor, we're now ready to pour the marshmallow onto the prepped parchment paper. At this point, the marshmallow is cool to the touch, but trust me, you're not going to want to underestimate how sticky this is. Once you've got the marshmallow out of the bowl, you're going to want to use a spatula to kind of gently push it into the corners of the pan so it reaches all corners of the pan. We put our pans of marshmallow in the oven to firm up overnight. Most of the time that works great, right up until it doesn't. I'll link in the description to a story of the great marshmallow mishap of 2023. The next day, when you take the marshmallows out of the oven, you'll want to dust the top liberally with powdered sugar. Then turn them out onto a cutting board that has also been dusted liberally with powdered sugar. The parchment paper should come away easily if enough cooking spray had been applied. This year, we struggled a little bit. Eventually, the marshmallow let go and we were able to remove the parchment paper cleanly. Because the newly exposed side is sticky, you'll need to dust it with powdered sugar. After a frustrating struggle this year trying to remove the parchment paper from the marshmallow, using the pizza cutter wasn't that much of a cheat. You're going to want to be super generous when dusting the marshmallow with the powdered sugar. This is really the only way to keep the stickiness down as you're working with the marshmallow. We usually cut ours into bite-sized squares. We begin by using one of my quilting templates as a straight edge and the pizza cutter as the blade. As you're cutting the marshmallow into strips, give them a little push, then they'll roll over and the sticky side will be on the top and on the bottom. Your board should already be dusted, so that'll coat the bottom of your marshmallow strip. And then as you go along, take some powdered sugar and dust it onto the sticky side that's on the top. Before turning your straight edge at a right angle and then cutting it into the little bite-sized pieces. As you go along, if you find that it's still too sticky, add more powdered sugar. This stage of the process really works best as a team, as one person cuts the marshmallow into strips and then cross-cuts it into little pieces. They can be rolled onto the second station, where the second person can roll the cut pieces in a little mountain of powdered sugar to liberally coat all the sides. Then the marshmallows should be put into an airtight Ziploc bag for storage until you're ready to package them to give them away or eat them yourself. While we certainly enjoy our share of marshmallows, they've become our most requested gift year after year. I hope the light from the heart of your home shines brightly through your own marshmallow making adventures.